to another programme of Eternal Energies. This is the first one in the new year, so a happy new year to you all, and I hope you attract everything you want for this coming 2016. We have a very lovely man with us today who we have a few years under our belts, and he graciously came and did some charity work for me on Friday at my centre. So without ado, I'd like to introduce you all to Mr. James Argue, and he comes from Chelmsford. Thank you, James.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Now, James is the working medium. We're going to find out what that involves later on as we go through. But first of all, let's ask him, how long have you been a working medium?
10 years.
10 years.
10 years last August.
And where did you first start?
I started healing first and foremost, and then I was involved with Sue Jarrett.
Ah, it's true.
One
Yes.
was Sue Jarrett, and I sat in her circle for 7 years. Wonderful trance circle. And that's how it all started, really and truly with me. And she, unfortunately, how I started in the mediumship, I didn't really want as a medium. I was happy to continue with the healing. And then she phoned me up one Sunday, actually, that she had a problem and that she couldn't attend a service. And that she couldn't, on the Sunday, she was sitting on the toilet and doing different things, and she couldn't get off the toilet. So she phoned around looking for a medium, but we were all engaged. So she phoned me up and said that I was doing the service. And I thought, wow, Sue, you must be joking. And that's not actually the words I said.
I can
But
imagine.
she said,
I know Sue. I know Sue. Knew Sue.
and she said, no, you have to do it, James, because I can't get anybody else in. So I went and done it. And it was the start of mediumship. It was the best thing ever happened. It wasn't a very good night because, as you know, you have to open with prayer, and then there's philosophy, and then the mediumship. But I made a bit of a mistake and a bit of a upheaval, let's say, on the opening prayer and the philosophy. I started with the philosophy and then the opening prayer.
That's the way things are.
But it was very, very nervous. But it went off, and that's how I started.
Where was this, James?
That was in, oh God, Felixstowe. Oh dear. My mind's gone for a second.
That's all right. It wasn't local anyway.
It just outside Ipswich.
Just outside of it.
On the A12, I can't think of it.
Hawley?
No, on the A12, going... it'll come to me in a second, sorry about that, just lost it.
Right, let's see.
No.
We could go through a lot.
Yes, we could.
Yeah, let's but that's how you first started here. Okay. So, how do you define yourself as a working medium?
I go, how do I define? What's a medium, working medium? Well, I tune into spirit as I say, tune in. You have it. I have guides and have friends in spirit world,
right.
And I tune into those, and they direct me to the actual person that I'm supposed to go to, and to give them a message from the loved ones. And whether it's a father, son, brother, whatever it is, that's how I do it. I just tune into spirit, and they actually give me the messages through my mind to go to that individual, whoever it is.
I understand that. Let me ask you then, do you think that a medium needs to be trained as a medium? Or do you think that people have what they call today, more than anything else, psychic links?
I think everybody's the same. I don't think anybody's different. We all were gifted with the same gifts. He gave us all the God, and give us all the same gifts. But it's what we wanted to develop on that aspect of life, or whatever you call it, medium, clairvoyancy, or whatever. I think it's what gels with you as a person, and that you tune into that, you click with that, you feel comfortable with that, and if you feel comfortable with that, that comes a bit of confidence to give what I believe is God giving you the messages.
Yeah.
and communicating whoever it is. It might be philosophy, it might be a message, and it might be a message from spirit world, as I call spirit world. It all varies. But thank goodness it's in that bubble as energy. I believe energy is God.
Yeah. Well, you say that, and I understand that the listeners are going to make up their own choices as they go along. But to have someone like you talking with a point of view of how you feel it's coming,
yes,
you feel your medium's working, and you feel that other people have, we're all different, but we're all the same,
yes,
will give people ideas to make up their own mind and find out and delve into further. And that's what the programme's all about. So, within your life, I can't help thinking that you have an Irish influence here.
definitely. Yeah.
So, within your life, then, who influenced you in the way of religion and God?
Well, I was brought up a very, very strict Catholic, and that being Mass, meeting, church every Sunday, devotions and Stations of Cross. And my mother was a very, very strict Catholic, and we were brought up very, very in that. There was 13 of us, so it was a very, very tight clique. You know, I mean, you couldn't. Yeah, because in that environment, if you're brought up in that environment, you don't know anything different.
Yes,
That is different.
Yeah, I understand.
And you don't see anything different. And until you move away from that environment, then you think, oh, thank goodness I've moved away, because it's so restrictive and so powerful.
I do, yeah, I understand.
But you have to go through that environment and learning. It's all learning. It's all experience.
So you would say that your mother maybe that influenced you as you went on in life through being through the Catholic Church?
Yes, my mother was a very big influence in my life, yes.
Is there anybody else you would say that maybe influenced you to steer you a certain way as you were then?
As I was there then, or to now?
Well, let's concentrate on what got you to where you are now.
Right. Well, my mother was one of the big influence. My sister was another big influence in me, because she was a very religious and very spiritual person, and we used to talk and sit down quite a lot and discuss every aspect of religion, every aspect of God, really and truly. And she was a very big influence on my life, and had a big influence on me moving away from a sort of the Catholic Church and looking at other religions and looking at other different aspects of life as a whole and religion as a whole. And that was wonderful, because you have a tendency when you come away from that environment to forget about religion. Forget about everything. There's no, because it was so forceful, you forget about religion. There's no such a thing as religion. For a period of time, I went through that. And then I thought there must be something different. There must be something different in this aspect. So then I started exploring. Then I started to look for different avenues and look for different other things in my life. And I went to Protestant Church of England services, and that didn't gel with me at all whatsoever. And then I took a trip to the States and got involved with Native American Indians, and that was a wonderful experience for me, because they have a wonderful attitude of life as a whole, because they will not accept anything without returning something.
Yes.
They have this wonderful energy. Absolutely. They have a lovely attitude of, you give something, they have to return something. It's like if you pick something from the ground or a stone, they carry tobacco with them all the time.
I know, yeah.
And when I walked with the elders and they picked up this beautiful stone, he said to me, "This is from your mother." Beautiful stone. And he returned to the earth some tobacco, and he explained to me the reasoning for that. Yeah. And that was something that was another journey in my life that I was very interested in. I got a great joy out of those people, because they have a very difficult life, but they're a very, very spiritualized They believe in the earth, and they
They
believe
do.
in everything.
I know what
relating
my
to the earth.
experience has been with the Native American,
Mm.
and being with them for quite a while.
Mm.
They initiated me, as I told you early on a lot of things, and helped me with doing a Native American medicine wheels and the language, a generic language, and the totem animals and the 4 directions and that kind of thing. I take tobacco with me wherever I go, and tobacco and juniper I take with me, because juniper was very, very strong with those. There is rumours that the first part of peace was juniper, but having said that, then it's the leaves, not the thorn, because the thorns are a bit, but the leaves that are crushed down. But I put it in dead trees and roadkill and anything like that is there. Yeah, so I do understand what you're saying, but that's Mother Nature. It's a case of giving back and only taking what we need, and not desecrating, like unfortunately has been done through. The white man has desecrated. We know that, but having said that, then our hearts go out when we see the cultures of the past being trodden down, even today.
Yes.
Things. But having said that, then who knows? The cultures of now in the future might be just the same. So thank you for the insight on that. You mentioned about your influence with religion and God.
Mm.
There are going to be listeners who will look at that as a diverse question, as much as say, look what religion has done to this planet and ourselves, and look how we've got away with murderous acts under the name of religion. How would you answer that?
Well, religion, in every aspect, there's no religion that it hasn't done atrocities. Every religion you name or you can think of has atrocities. So it's an experience in my view. Life is a great experience, it's a great learner, and we learn from everything that's on this planet, that he gave us the choice to learn. And I believe that religion has a place. I believe every religion has a place, but it's the individual, because they're individual. Each and every person on this planet is an individual, and they want their choices, and they're entitled to their choices. And I wouldn't, the one thing that I would say, that everybody's entitled to their views, entitled to their views and religion, whatever that is, and but not to force it on anybody. Give their view and explain their views, because some people are very, very strong in their views and they're entitled to that. But I had a tendency to pick different bits out of different religions and learn about different religions, and I felt comfortable in this and I felt comfortable in that, but not in the whole aspect of it. And that applies to all religions. If you, in my view, if you can read a book, whatever book you pick up, whether it's the Bible or whether it's a spiritual book or a magazine, and everybody gets a different view by reading that text or whatever. You can
Absolutely.
Everybody's
That's
different
the
view.
influence of the programme,
Mm.
and that's, you've hit it in a nutshell there. We're trying to get over so people can understand and make their own choices through looking at this interview,
Well,
and
definitely.
hopefully plugging on it again and again to get answers that perhaps they've forgotten. Looking at a book, we all like, and especially me, if I'm reading a book, I go back and read it again, because there's bound to be something that I can learn from it again. What I was getting at more was that, and with great respect of what you're saying, unfortunately with the aspect of everybody making their own choices, religion hasn't been quite that way. It's been very dictating and very controlling, and we've got to a situation whereby that it's almost like a fear situation, whereby we're taught right from a young age, no matter what religion or denomination we're in, if we're good, we will go to this wonderful place called heaven, and if we're not, we won't. And that fear aspect brought the controlling, and that's what we've got today with these things. And this is just at a point of view, a generic point of view here, so that the listeners will understand. How does that sit with you?
I have a great love for the youngsters, the young people, the younger generation, because a lot of them will not be focused. They'll not be tunneled into anything. They have a free mind of it, if you will, and they love to experience. And I love that they go to a Christian church, they go to a Catholic church, a spiritual church, but there's something there.
Yeah.
They're so interested, and it's a lovely. I love little pieces because like I was focused. I had to go that way. This generation now has a lovely view. I love them to pieces because they'll take pieces of everybody and they'll listen to it, and if it sits right with them, they'll progress. If they don't, they're not interested. And that, I hope, is the way forward for us. I really believe that this generation will change an awful lot.
So do I. And that was going to be my next point and question about what's happening now and how we're progressing. So thank you for leading there. I don't know to do that one.
I didn't mean to do that.
But having said that, and going down those roads here, I remember when I first started, and it was almost like that marks out of 10 when I first started. And I remember in Sutton Church sitting there, whereby you have the governing body of the church is sitting there and they're marking you to see if you can become a working medium, or you can do this and do that. I'm so glad things have changed and done that. But people will not change unless they experience for themselves. All throughout our lives, we can be dictated to for whatever reason, whatever subject it is, but it's not till we find out ourselves that we start to progress. So, you saying with the youngsters, that's really, really good. I mean, when I was young, I remember when I was, way back in the 60s, sort of like, when things were in there, and I wasn't brought up in as strict as environment as you, but my parents were C of E, and my father was on, or almost a lay preacher. He was on the committees of all the local churches, and in fact I was christened and got married in church and all that sort of thing. For the first time. Second time I got married under the Hopi son. So I did all the ceremony myself. But I actually did it in a spiritual church. We didn't go down too good, but there you go, that's the way it was. But having said that, so it's, so as a working medium, what do you think your purpose is to give to others?
To give to others? Well, I believe that myself, as an individual, coming across confidence, to give people confidence to be who they are, really and truly. If I get a message, or if I tune into a message and give them the message, I hope that is the rec saying that life is continuous and life carries on, and there's a lot of people believe that life carries on, but very hard to understand it. And I got it very difficult to understand that as well. I don't know, when you were brought up the way I was, it was hard to believe that life is continuous, that we believe there's a God.
Oh yeah, me too. That's right.
Believe there's a God, but I was wanting somebody to stand up in front and say, I'm here, I'm from Spirit World, believe me, I'm here. You know what I mean? And that happens, but it hasn't happened to me. But I get fantastic messages from Spirit World, and I give that to people that has lost people. Lost people, where there's a wife that's lost, or a husband that's lost, or a child that's lost. I get a message, and it comforts them. It's a little comfort, but it doesn't take away the problem, or the sorrow, or
the physical. You'll never, you'll the physical person, the smiles, the hugs, the kisses, and all the rest of it, and just the conversation. You will miss that, of course you will. If you've been with a person for up to years, then of course there is. And even if it's a close friend who you don't know too much, the friendship is there, whatever the situation is. And I suppose having the knowledge to pass on to people, their life does go on after life. All they have to think of is, how does he know that?
But we go back to the energy part. All energy.
Yeah, all energy.
With all energy, whether you're grass or energy, whether you're everything is energy, and we touch energy. And spirit world is energy. And I find that when somebody that I'm giving a message to, they'll tell me that they're around that person and give me indication whether it's a sensation you get on their head or their body or whether any part of the body to get a sensation. And then they say, oh yeah, I've got that, but I didn't realise what that was. But that is their loved one communicating with them, but they didn't realise what to communicate. But they can communicate with the loved one. They don't have to have a medium to communicate with their loved ones.
That is quite true.
Because we're all the same, as I said before. We all got energy, and it's just blending the energy. And it takes a little bit of time, like we know from spirit, working with spirit. It takes a time for the energies to blend.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. And you keep doing that, James. You keep influencing my next questions.
I didn't read the question.
No, that's really good. That's really. But having said that, can I ask you, is it necessary to believe in a God to be spiritual?
Not in the least. Not in the least. Why? Every God is everything. Why should we believe in one thing? You know, I mean, why don't we? I believe energy is God.
Yeah. Let me just define that a bit more, so that the listeners. These are generic questions here. Let me define that just a bit more. Then, if we believe in a God, we therefore believe in a creator.
Yes.
We therefore believe in a written book that is supposed to be witnessed by certain people. Yet it's been proved to be very controversial. The creator bit has been proved to be very, very controversial. And then we get into other aspects of things. How does that sit with you?
Well, because as I go back to the same thing, everybody's an individual, and everybody has a choice to believe in a God, their God. If they believe in God, they're entitled to do that. And I believe they are entitled to do that. And we have no way and should never approach on those people that believe and are covered in that aspect of it. But that doesn't say I have to believe in that type of God, and you have to believe in that type of God. No.
I do understand that. I think that perhaps we're skipping over the point a bit.
Sorry.
What I was trying to do is that there's going to be the old words of agnostics out there. They're going to be people who have no influence at all, and once, like we've heard, once you're dead all over.
Yeah.
That kind of scenario. So they're looking at the situations and much to say that, look, science has proved where we came from, yet we have been dictated to from a long while of two people that came to this earth, or one to start with, and then the rib was taken so we get to the other person, and that's how humanity started. How can that be justified in their eyes?
But that's their view, that's their point of view. They're entitled to that. We can't change their view, but you can't stamp everybody with the same view. An atheist, I have wonderful conversations with some of them. Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, I do. I love them to the door.
And they're lovely, lovely people. And the most 99 and 3/4% of us on this planet are lovely people. It's just that we have different views, and I really believe that is healthy. And conversation to educate people, and because I learn from everybody, and you do the same. Because you told me that early. It was a lovely conversation that everybody has a view, and you pick up different things from everybody,
definitely.
and it sits right, and other parts it doesn't sit. And that's what it's all about, really.
That's why the programme is so influential to people. That's why people want it so much, because I do ask the questions that they want to know.
Lovely. But that is really, that's what life is about. Is in individual and individual taste and individual views and individual everything, because we are unique. Each and every one of us are unique.
Absolutely.
And it's wonderful.
Isn't it? Yeah. So while we're in this atmosphere, talking to people who don't exist, if you like, at this moment, and we're talking to people. If you are able to give someone a message that is meaningful, and I don't mean that lightly when I say that, I mean if it's meaningful to them, maybe they might have a loss that is a grieving situation that has been there maybe for a long while, or just happened, and the influence is there. How does that resonate with you when you give them that message?
Fantastically, because as we described it, energy has to come. Energy comes from it. So the energy has to touch me, and it touches that individual that you give the message to or conversation to, and that energy coming back from the touching energy, and the energy is communicating, and it's just wonderful. Wonderful. I was at a church 3 weeks ago, and the lady had lost her husband, and it was the first time he came through, and it was lovely. It was absolutely wonderful, and she didn't believe, being honest, in spiritualism, and she was brought there by a friend. I'm not saying that she's going to believe in spiritual all her life, but she's entitled to views and everything else, and she should query. But it was very fortunate that I was there to be able to give her a message about her husband, and she really enjoyed it, and it was really, it was enjoyable for me, because the feedback from that lady with her energy, it was lovely. And that is the joy of what I do. And it's not for everybody. Thank goodness it's not for everybody.
No. Let me just take you briefly back as time is getting on. Before the religion that we knew, no matter who, we only talked about 35 years ago here. Before that, everything was classed as pagan. Everything. Yet we worshipped things that were good to us, like the land, the wind, the sea, the air, the fire, the fertility, the crops in the fields. When I say worshipped, then we gave offerings to that.
Yes.
The control then was, if we didn't, it wouldn't happen. Has anything changed?
I think so. I really, thank goodness, I believe that life has changed, people have changed, and I think it's a fantastic world, I believe, that we're living in, because it's an experience. And I believe that everything that I do is an experience, an involvement of me as an individual. That doesn't say, maybe I've touched you and involved you a little bit, but it's all about, it's not selfishness, but it's all about the individual experience life the way he'd like to experience life. And in my view, you do the best you can without harming other people. That is not always the way, but we make mistakes, and we make dreadful mistakes sometimes, and we fall on our face very often. But that is in the process of evolving, and it's like everybody, what you are is what you stand up in.
Yeah. I mean, I find it, on a personal level, I find some things that don't resonate with me like you, some things don't resonate with you. One of the main ones is that when we have a war of some sort, we have a priest for one side saying that God is with you, and we have a priest for the other side saying God is with you. I have never understood that, and I don't think anybody is going to be able to tell me that. And the other one is that we are both working mediums. I don't do quite so much now. I'm trying to get people to understand that and give them the tools that you don't have to believe, you don't have to do this, you are born like that, and that's the way it is. And I know that everybody's coming out of the woodwork today, especially on the media that we've had out there, whether it be Twitter or everything. Everybody's a psychic or a medium or something, you know. But what doesn't resonate with me is that a person can be ordained as a minister, yet can be a working medium too. The reason it doesn't ordain for it, I take things whereby I research them. I do know the Bible, I know it quite well. I was always very, very good at that and influenced. And it does say in the Bible, beware of charlatans and heretics and false prophets. So that doesn't resonate with me. I'm not saying it shouldn't resonate with other people because it's a choice. But I will say, the last thing, listeners, it's been really fantastic talking to you. Thank you so much, James.
Really has been a pleasure.
And I will say to the listeners that go out, read and research, find out, look at many interviews from many different faiths and religions. Go back to the first a thing that influenced you in your life. Then you can start from the ground roots and work yourself up. Whether you believe or not is entirely your choice. Don't be influenced, don't be dictated to, and don't allow the control to come in. Find your own level in life. And with that, I'm saying this is Spirit Rob signing off until we meet some other time. Bye for now.